UCF is the perfect opponent for Baylor.
You are Locked On Baylor, your daily podcast on the Baylor Bears. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
If they want to lose on homecoming, welcome into another episode of Locked On Baylor. It's brought to you by FanDuel, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. I'm your host, Cam Stuart of ESPN Central Texas and the Rogue Media Network. Appreciate you guys making it your first listen today and every day. On this show, we will be covering why UCF is the perfect opponent for Baylor if Baylor wants to lose on their homecoming, because all of the things UCF is good at, Baylor's bad at, and vice versa. How about DJ Lagway to Baylor in 2026 and maybe another reunion that could behoove the Bears a little bit? And should fans start to study what's going on up there in Denton? And will they see the North Texas Mean Green before this season is done? All that and more coming up on this episode of Locked On Baylor. We start where we start. Baylor will take the field against UCF on Saturday, homecoming, 11 a.m. kickoff, all kind of a festive atmosphere, and that might be the best part of the game for the Baylor Bears. And this sucks because statistically, UCF is the worst team that's left on Baylor's schedule. But if you look at what they are good at, it just matches up with what Baylor's bad at. And what Baylor's good at, UCF is also pretty good at. So this matchup might be the worst outside of Houston in the second half of the season. And that's no disrespect to TCU, Cincinnati, or Utah. Those are all good football teams. Don't get me wrong. Lord knows I am not looking past those teams. But this might be the worst matchup, no matter who is playing quarterback for UCF. And look, when you face a national championship program, that's kind of how things go. I think Baylor's played teams between Auburn and UCF. They have faced a combined like 20 national championships this year, which is really tough. And I'm sure one of them will be claiming it this season as well. But when you look at what UCF does well, it should terrify you as a Baylor fan, because they're one of the best run offenses in America that's coming at you right into your living room on your homecoming Saturday. They had a huge game against West Virginia, by the way, before this bye week. And again, as we talk about, if you're not a Baylor fan, if you're not a Baylor team, you actually play well coming out of the bye week rather than poorly like Baylor did. And so they've had 2 weeks to prepare for you, and all you were doing was you went and got beat up at Cincinnati. But you're about to face a top 20 rush offense and a pass defense. That does not bode well for this Baylor team at all. Because I don't need to tell you this, because we've seen it week after week. If you don't get like an elite passing game from Sawyer Robertson, you don't win. Like, that has been the case. And even when you have gotten some elite passing games from Sawyer Robertson, sometimes you just don't win. And that's what Baylor has to face right now this week against UCF. All my stats have gone away. I don't know. I have the worst laptop on the planet, so I'm going off of what I remember right now, which is just a fantastic way to do a podcast if I had to say so myself. But Sawyer Robertson coming off his worst game in a Baylor uniform, at least based off the expectations. The first time this season, he didn't throw it 30 times. And that's pretty indicative of where the Bears were at. They didn't have the football. And UCF can keep the football out of your hands better than almost anybody in college football. And of course they do. They run it for more than 200 yards a game. Like literally 20th in America in that stat against what is a bottom 15 run defense in all of college football. Like this, I just, Vegas knows all. Vegas knows everything. And I'm just a miserable P word right now, this whole week, this whole season for Baylor football. But I cannot tell you why the Bears are favored in this game. Like there's nothing I can say that's like, oh yeah, that's why. They have the better quarterback, sure, but we've seen the quarterback go nuclear and them still lose games. They don't have a better defense. They don't have a better run game. They don't have a better coach, and they have no home field advantage. So I don't really understand why Baylor is still a favorite in this game. By 3.5, 4.5, it's been that the whole week. I'm just not sure. The more I look into UCF, the more I think this is their kryptonite. This is like knowingly drinking poison playing UCF. 208 yards a game on the ground. Baylor gives up 191, which magically is not the worst in the Big 12. Like by some divine intervention is not the worst in the Big 12. Baylor, best passing offense in the Big 12, just happened to be going up against the number 1 passing defense in the Big 12, number 6 in the country, and a team that is top 5 overall in defense in this conference and defensive efficiency. Like they don't get scored on, man. They give up 17 points a game. There's nothing I can point to and say, yeah, that's where Baylor's going to have the advantage. That's where they're going to have it right there. I wish I could. I really wish I could. I could tell you that UCF hasn't faced a tight end like Michael Trigg yet. I could tell you that with certainty. But I could say that about every team every week. You know, is Sawyer Robertson the best quarterback they've faced? Yeah. But like it was the same thing for Cincinnati. I don't think Dylan Raiola is better than Sawyer Robertson. You know, I don't think, I don't know that Taven Jackson is, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It has not stopped them before, or it has stopped Baylor. It's not stopped UCF. I mean, we're talking about one of the best rushing offenses, one of the best overall defenses. It just doesn't bode well for a Baylor team that is bottom 15 in FBS in basically every statistical category defensively. And a team that is 130th in the nation, by the way, 130th in the nation in turnover margin. That's been a huge, huge issue with this offense. And you're just going to give this team short fields like you kind of did to Cincinnati last week. It's going to be the same result. You're going to lose by multiple touchdowns. So somebody help me. I need some help on this one. I like to think I was pretty optimistic about this Baylor season. I've been pretty optimistic throughout. I mean, hell, dude, I did a segment last week on which games to watch just in case Baylor's still in the Big 12 title race. Like, if that's not optimistic, I don't know what is. But I've run out of optimism, and obviously it's been a downtrodden couple of weeks here, as you can tell from this show. But specifically researching UCF, because I've only watched them a handful of times this year, like going through and looking at what they're good at, it doesn't give me much hope for this game at all. Like, I think this is like Scott Frost is over there licking his lips right now. There's probably no one they think they match up better with on their entire schedule than Baylor. Maybe North Carolina. They're pretty bad. But they see all the things they do well, and they look at a Baylor team that cannot stop that. And you talk about this Bears offense, which I've said it for a couple of weeks now. Like, they're really only good at like one facet of the game, one half of one facet of the game, and that is passing offense. They're not good at running the ball. They're not good at rushing defense, passing defense. They're not great on special teams. Like, there's one half of one facet of the game they're good at, and it's a passing offense. And that just happens to be the thing that UCF is best at defending. 6th in the nation, tops in the Big 12. I'm desperate, man. I'm desperate for some hope here. I'm just not finding it against UCF. I'm desperate, though. I'm like on my knees praying of like, hey, can someone find me something that gives you hope for Baylor to win this game? Vegas knows something that we don't. I don't know what it is, but they've still got Baylor as favorites in this game. I'm struggling. Clearly, I am struggling to find it. I'm looking for hope in other ways, which I'll get to in a minute. But let me know what you have to say, have to say. I got to slow down. Let me know what you have to say about this Baylor game on Saturday and what from the Bear side of things is actually going to give you hope that they will come out with a homecoming victory. I am finding hopium, copium, however you want to call it, from some other corners of the college football landscape. DJ Lagway, once seen as a Heisman candidate this year and was the best high school quarterback in America when he picked Florida over Baylor. But is he about to reverse course here and end up as a Baylor Bear and continue his father's legacy next year? Let's talk about it next segment on Locked On Baylor. But first, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, who does have Baylor as a favorite in this weekend's matchup against UCF. But what I look towards is the NBA, because college football, I'm a little too close to it at this point. The NBA is back. There's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the National Basketball Association. Even if you miss the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you could even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. I spent $5 on a parlay the other night to win 10 grand, and I lost by 2 legs, which is really close when there's that much money on the line. And it keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. And by the way, I won 3 different parlays over the weekend, so I'm feeling good about FanDuel. Right now, they are giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. That is, again, the National Basketball Association, as I get down to toggle this. Back at it, Locked On Baylor. Cam Stuart, your host, who is searching for hope. I think we are all searching for hope in this current state of Baylor football. Because not only do you have the whole coaching mess, and you're probably looking at a new head coach for next year and all that comes with that, but most of the talent you have on the team right now is not coming back next year. Sawyer Robertson and Michael Trigg and Josh Cameron and Devin Bobby and all these guys, they're out of eligibility. And we are shoot out of luck, so to speak. Except that Baylor might not be the only program that fires their head coach. Florida has already done it. And so when a coach gets fired in this day and age in 2025, the star player is probably looking to go somewhere else, especially when that star player is a quarterback. I'm looking at you, DJ Lagway, the same DJ Lagway whose dad, Derek, went through some really difficult football seasons at Baylor in his time here. The same DJ Lagway who had that Baylor hat on the table when he was the number 1 ranked quarterback in the country playing out there in East Texas, Beast Texas, as we call it, at Willis, and decided, I'm going to go to Florida instead. Baylor was right there. Right there. And let me just tell you something, DJ, from Baylor fans, from Baylor Nation to you, the door's still open, brother. Come home. Be a part of this great Lagway legacy at Baylor. For the Bears fans who are already shrugging it off, it's not as crazy as you think. Here's my pitch. If, and that is an if still, if Baylor decides to move in a different direction, get a new head coach in here next year, what I would suggest is said head coach, look at the Texas ties, look at the Baylor ties, and look at a hot assistant who's left the Baylor program recently and is having a pretty good year in the Big 12, and say, hey, Sean Bell, why don't you come back? I see what you're doing for Willie Fritz. You're doing a heck of a job down there. I don't know what they were doing getting rid of you up here, but I want you back. Maybe, give me one more chance. Give the Baylor Bears one more chance. Come home, live in China Spring, your hometown, and come back to Baylor. Be the offensive coordinator here. Call the plays here, because Jake Spavital is going to be gone no matter what. No shade on Spav. Whether Dave's here or not, Spavital's gone. Come up here, be the OC, call the plays, mold this young quarterback that we're going to bring in on top of the ones that we already have. We have some pretty good options. Walker White, Nate Bennett, Edward Griffin. These guys you helped recruit. Walker White, he was hard on the Walker White trail as well. And he developed a great relationship with DJ Lagway. Almost only for horseshoes and hand grenades, right? But the fact that Baylor was on that table when the number one quarterback recruit in the country was deciding where he was going to go to college, the fact that Baylor was even there is a testament to Sean Bell. And we won't have any more Drake told China Spring banquet jokes to worry about. No more of those. If you know, you know. But Sean Bell was great at developing these relationships with quarterback recruits. And if Baylor was not 3-9 when they were trying to recruit Walker White or DJ Lagway, they probably would have been Baylor Bears from day one. So again, you're looking at a program that was very similar to now, was even worse, and looked like their coach was going to get fired. And yet Sean Bell had such a good relationship with DJ Lagway that Baylor was one of the last three schools standing. What better reunion could there be than that? Be it G.J. Kinney or Eric Morris, who we'll talk about in a minute, or Jeff Traylor, or any of these guys that have been names that have floated around the ether for the next Baylor coach. Whoever comes in is going to be looking for someone who knows the program, who's a damn good recruiter, who's doing a good job on the sidelines this year. And there is Sean Bell. Sean Bell fits that mold. Exactly. And look, if the guy's still bitter at how it ended at Baylor, his alma mater, then I get that. I totally get that. But it is absolutely worth the shot to give him a bit of a raise, give him the same position here, make him the associate head coach, because you're going to have an offensive philosophy, and have him mold the quarterbacks here. Because he's done a pretty damn good job this year down there in H-Town. Because I look at DJ Lagway, right? A guy who was burst onto the scene last year as obviously a very high-profile recruit. And this year, basically the coach was still at Florida because Billy Napier had a great relationship with DJ Lagway, and the school didn't want to lose him, so they held on to Napier for another year. And this year's not going according to plan. It's been rough at times. I think of that LSU game with the 5 picks. Like, it has been tough sledding at points for DJ Lagway this year, and not all of that was his fault, but the accuracy numbers have dipped a little bit. He's not throwing the ball, is not throwing as accurate a deep ball as he was last year. He's not as explosive as last year. Let me go through that again. Top-rated high school football quarterback from Texas, goes to a big-time program. Coach is under fire the whole time he's there, head coach. And they throw this kid out there hoping that he will be the savior at quarterback. Neither of those things work. The coach gets fired. The quarterback leaves. He goes to play for Sean Bell, and suddenly he's a winner. And he's a heck of a player, and his accuracy numbers go up, and he's not throwing as many picks. Am I talking about DJ Lagway in the future, or am I talking about Connor Wegman right now? What Sean Bell has done with Connor Wegman, making him a legit quarterback when a lot of people had already given up on him being that in college football, and turning a 4-8 team to a 7-1 team. Like, is that not exactly what Baylor needs right there? We're going to talk all damn season about who the coach needs to be. We're going to be very long in the tooth about what coach needs to come here, what head coach. But the next thing is, you're probably going to need a quarterback succession plan. Not that you don't have a good one right now, but who knows what happens when the coach gets fired. Those things just get thrown into flux. And you need someone who can be a trusted assistant, who knows the program, who knows the school at large, who knows the recruiting area, and who knows the conference. Sean Bell fits all of those things, and DJ Lagway brings you some instant legitimacy for whomever the next new head coach is. So yeah, it sounds crazy. but crazier things have happened. I don't think anyone was thinking 2 years ago that Connor Wegman was going to be playing for Willie Fritz at Houston, right? So who's to say that DJ Lagway can't play for Sean Bell and Coach X for Baylor in 2026 and instantly raise the Bears' floor after Sawyer Robertson leaves? Crazier things have happened. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you, of course, every weekday and Saturday post games on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts as well. Coming up next, let's take a look at a coaching candidate because it's one that Baylor could see before the end of the season if they don't decide to hire him. Let's talk about what's going on in Denton coming up next on Locked On Baylor. Okay, today's episode is brought to you by Mazda. You know them. You love them. Mazda here with us every week on the Locked On Podcast Network, and they craft cars for those who do more than simply move. They deliver confidence with every ride. More IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else. From footwork to breath work, they're sweating all the details just like the athletes are. Mazda brings that intention to how they craft every model. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but. Smooth handling, intuitive controls, and that all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV. You can drive with confidence through almost any season, no matter how rocky it is, Bears fans. Like the Baylor Bears, we sweat every detail at Mazda because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. We have been so focused on what's going on in Waco, we have missed probably the best story in college football in the state of Texas this year. No, not Texas Tech's rise with Cody Campbell's oil money. All power to him. No, not Arch Manning falling apart down there in Austin. And definitely no, the Aggies having one of their best seasons literally ever. The greatest story in college football in the state of Texas right now is happening up 35 in the beautiful town of Denton, Texas, where UNT is rewriting the record books under Coach Eric Morris. These guys are putting up video game numbers. And for UNT, that is unheard of. And in the latest bowl projections, they had a nice little local matchup in Frisco, the Frisco Bowl, 2 days before Christmas, baby. Yeah, get it out of the way. We don't want it interfering with any of our college football playoff watching or anything like that. But the Frisco Bowl projection is Baylor against UNT. Wouldn't that be something? One year, UNT really kicked the crap out of them, like 20 years ago. I want to say it was 2003 or 4, and UNT beat them like 52-3, I want to say was the score. What a matchup that would be. And Baylor's offense is not bad enough to go down 52-3, but I wouldn't be stunned if they gave up 52 points to this UNT team because the Mean Green are that good offensively. Okay. They are top 5 in yards per game, passing yards per game. Top 5 in the country. Not in group of 5, not in their conference, not even in the state of Texas, which would be pretty damn impressive itself. They are top 5 in the country in those offensive categories. They're also first, numero uno, top of 136 teams in points per game. 46 points per game. No one has been able to stop this team. And that's why Eric Morris is going to be one of the hottest names on the market in this coaching carousel. Folks, it is time to start paying attention to the North Texas Mean Green for the next month. Because if Eric Morris is the next head coach of the Baylor Bears, we can get on your knees and thank the good Lord. Because that would be a heck of a pick. An unbelievable pick. I mean, here's a guy who like sets up Cam Ward from being a no-star recruit at Incarnate Word to the number 1 pick in the draft. And that's not even the best college quarterback he coached. He was also at Tech, his alma mater, by the way, for whatever that's worth. when they were coaching a future Pro Football Hall of Famer. Now, we didn't have a winning record against Baylor, but yes, Patrick Mahomes, coached by Eric Morris. The dude has been around greatness. He has made greatness, and he's doing it again at UNT. We've got to hope that there's no chain of events that Steve Sarkisian goes to the NFL and Joey McGuire goes to Texas because Eric Morris will go to Texas Tech. We don't want that. And honestly, Baylor's probably going to be battling uphill to get Eric Morris anyway. Seriously. This is obviously a pretty wide open coaching carousel. Oklahoma State, just up the road from him in Denton. Probably even a little closer than Waco is. I don't know about that. But pretty close. Same recruiting base as UNT would have had in terms of geography, not in terms of star recruits. That might be a job that he'd consider over Baylor. It might be a better job than Baylor right now, especially if you're looking at fan attendance. And even like Florida, I don't think that's crazy for Eric Morris. Arkansas, I know their main concern is the fact that his last name is Morris, but that would be a home run hire for Arkansas. And with that SEC money, that is a better job than Baylor. So start paying attention. This is the guy. This should be in everybody's top 3. Eric Morris should be in everybody's top 3 or 5 for the next Baylor football coach. Texas through and through, right? Oh, but he went to Tech. Yeah, I think so did Art. Oh no, Art went to Houston. It happens. These guys do that. It's not crazy. He's a Texas guy, offensive minded, which all Baylor fans are going to want at this point. You've seen how the defensive guy is done. And we've seen how great Baylor can be when they have a great offense. Eric Morris should be that guy you're looking at. Absolutely should be. And I'm hoping that he's not coaching UNT in the bowl game because I'm hoping that he is already doing press conferences with the Baylor Bears. One last note to end on, because I was almost too positive in that last segment. Looking at all these stats that UNT is top 5 in these offensive stats. By the way, Baylor's right around them in all of them. Sometimes they're ahead of them. So take that for what it's worth. But when scoring offense came up, UNT's number 1 in the country. Baylor's not in the top 30. Take that with you when you go to bed tonight. They're top 5 in all the other major offensive categories, especially passing, and they're not in the top 30 in scoring. That's a big reason you're at 4-4. That's all I'm saying. But let me know what you think about Eric Morris and the North Texas Mean Green, because I might be late to the party on this one. Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll have a little bit more about UCF tomorrow, a little bit more for keys to the game and the games to watch this weekend around the Big 12. We will have it for you on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts on your favorite show. Thank you for making this your first listen today and every day. We'll see you then on Locked On Baylor.